Hey, welcome to the second video of my level request series. If you haven't seen the first one, this is a series where I'll be playing your guys' levels and giving feedback on how to improve. I randomly picked these levels from a Google form that you can find in the description of the video. Keep in mind that I reset this form every time I post a new one of these videos, so if I don't play your level this time, you can just submit it again. Alright, let's get on to the requests. Okay. So, the first level for today is by A2BY, and it was inspired by Viking Arena. Okay. Okay, this is cool. I like the look the pixel effect gives it, though I do feel like these spikes are a little disconnected from the structures, just because of the fact that you have outlines on these structures, but it just cuts from very dark color to a very bright color over here. I like the foreground you added. I like this part, but I feel like more could have been done with the midground, or background. Yeah, like this. You added bricks and it already looks so much better. Ooh, okay, inspired by Lava Temple, or is it Fire Temple? This is really cool. Though I feel like that little segment could have lasted for longer, because you kind of just switched back to the other decoration. That's cool. I like that. Good job. Okay, so the next level is by Kreva19, and it is called Moonlight Roaming. Let's see. They want feedback on the gameplay. Okay. I really like the colors here. I like how you've added a little bit of hue variation to mix things up. I do feel like you could have added some more parallax to the clouds, though, in the background, because it does look a little static. This river looks really nice. I like this. I will say, if you want to improve this a bit, you could add a little more texturing to these mountains and just rock structures in general, because they are a bit flat. I also feel like it could use a little more going on, because, again, the background feels a little static, and level has felt really samey throughout. Okay, that was pretty good. Let me show you what I meant about the rocks using more detail. Yeah, because look at that. Next, I've got a level from Cannibal? I don't know how to pronounce it, called Chronos. It's 2 minutes long. Okay. This is reminding me of old 2.1. You might want to add a little more contrast between the structures down here and the background, because as of right now, they blend in a lot. The orbs could also use some tying into the theme, like if you added orb decoration. And I also feel as if some more colors would be nice. I see you've added a little bit of glint on these lines here. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, it's just memory. Okay. Again, it would be nice to see a couple more colors being used, rather than just one per block design. I do see that this is a circles level though, so I'm curious to see where this leads. Oh my god, this memory is destroying me. Is that a real click? Okay, that's a little unbalanced. I also feel like you could turn down the opacity on the orb decoration in here a little bit, because as of now it's probably going to be a bit hard for people to see what orbs they are. You could probably also layer these orbs above the blocks so you don't get all this clipping going on whenever they pulse outside of it. It makes it look a little bit messy. Alright. Okay, that was a bit of a sudden transition, but it's alright. This looks cool. Particles in the background look nice. I feel like you could have incorporated a little bit of movement onto these structures, like maybe an area move to just get them to feel a little more alive. I'll show you in the editor in a moment, after I finish this practice run. Where did all the color go? I'm seeing that you did put a bunch of color here, but what happened to it? I think I found out what's happening, but I'm not sure how to fix it. Because you see, it's fine on your first attempt in the drop, but if I die, yeah, look, once you die, everything goes black and white. I have no clue how you did this, but other than that, let me show you real quick what you could have done with these little pillars. Alright, so I've just added some area triggers. And now you can see that all these pillar structures are moving, and it adds a lot of liveliness to it. Next, I've got a level by Interstellar called Space Jam. And he made the second half of the layout and the decoration. He made the decoration. Okay. This is cool so far. I like how you made the, I like how you made these beams in between the saw blades. That's really neat. I feel like you could have picked a different outline color for these saws though, or just made them a little more intricate, the large ones. Because the outlines feel out of place since they're so thick. Okay. Ooh. This is cool. I feel like you could have, like, entire screen overlays, because the pulsing just doesn't feel very intense compared to the intensity of the song here. I like how you made the spikes stand out by making them red as opposed to everything else being blue. This is cool. I like this. Ooh. Okay, so perhaps this part has a little bit too much glow because at some points the outlines just seem a little muddy. I get that you want the glow to be noticeable, but if you make it too bright it just looks a little off. Oh. Okay. I feel like you could have done more with this instead of just having it stand still here. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Alright. I like what you did with the particles for the end screen. Nice. That was good. Alright. This next level is by It's Lizu. Let's see what you've got. Okay. So right off the bat, we've got a little bit of an unfair click. You might not want to be doing that the first click. Unless it's a buffer. In which case it's alright. But I still advise against it. What? Why'd the song reset? What weird shenanigans are you pulling with the song trigger? I see you're going for a 1.9 aesthetic, but I feel like you could have added more pulses to the block design. Also, you've got your 3D incorrect. I can show you how to fix that in a moment. Oh yeah, look, the 3D is facing all different directions here. Maybe you accidentally placed that song trigger there, because this doesn't feel like it's on sync with the level. I just realized this is the second 9 Circles level this video. This feels like it needs a little more variation, because the song is changing around a lot more than the actual gameplay is. I feel like a lot of this gameplay is repeating itself as well. Especially this structure, where you go down through a block, and then you hit a mini portal, and then you have that hold. Yeah, there it is again! So you might want to make more unique gameplay. And there it is again. Alright, I'm gonna go into the editor and show you how to make this 3D correctly. So, an easy way to do this that I found on YouTube once, I don't remember who made it, is you can actually place down some blocks. If you move it 5 small spaces in any diagonal direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you get exactly where the outline for the 3D should be. So if you're applying this to an entire part, you can just build an overlay on them, and then copy and paste it, and move it 5 steps over to see where the 3D should be placed. So if I were to place this over here, yeah, you can see it perfectly aligns. Alright, so now I've placed all the 3D lines down. It looks a lot better. Wait a minute. I think I'm being stupid. Yeah, you did do the 3D somewhat correctly on these, but over here you have it going the wrong way, and you just don't have the 3D facing a consistent direction. Because over here you can see it's going down and to the left, but on the bottom block design it's going up and to the right. Either way, that was a pretty decent level. I liked it. Alright, the next level I've got is by Nitro 2. Okay, this seems to be another GDPS level. I like these little tree structures you made. It's really cool, and how you outlined them with the ground spike objects. I also like how these yellow pads are strung up like Christmas lights. Some more really creative structures. I like how you use the glow of the ground spikes to kind of mask these spikes you're using. These are some really creative designs. I'm not really able to give much constructive criticism on this because I don't really build in a 1.0 GDPS, but from what I've seen, this is really nice. This memory maze is a little difficult compared to the rest of the level. The worst part is I know which block I'm supposed to go on, I just can't get to it. I like the structuring here as well. It kind of looks like a, I don't know, sort of like an ice castle thing. Okay, that was cool. I really love all the creative stuff you did with that. I'm sorry I wasn't able to give much constructive criticism, because frankly, I'm just not accustomed to building in a 1.0 style, so I don't really know what could be improved, but that's a really nice level. Alright, the next level is by Oisigris? Isigris? I don't know how to pronounce that. They want feedback on the camera movements and possible blind transitions. Okay, I see what's going on there. Okay, well, first of all, I'm seeing you're struggling a little bit to set the player up for this next click, because I'm way below this pink pad, and it just makes it really awkward, because I've got all this room up here that I could have been bounced up to. What in the world am I supposed to do here? These pink pads bounce me— oh, that's really awkward. You might not want to do that. The camera movements here aren't really the problem. It's more so the fact that your decoration is very visually noisy, so it's a little hard to make out what's happening. Oh. Alright. The fact that you just scaled a bunch of these spikes and structures around makes it feel a little messy. So it'd be a good idea to try to keep outlines and spikes the same size throughout the level, unless you give them more detail when they're larger. You should also try making the background darker, because it just kind of blends in with everything going on here. It's the same color as the block design. Both are made of lines. Okay. Some new decoration. This looks nicer than the other decoration, in my opinion, because it's a lot cleaner. It's still a little messy, though, because you can see that everything was warped. Nothing is consistent. It's just this copy and pasted, squished, and then copy and pasted and squished again. Nothing's really a consistent size or thickness. Alright. Oh. I was not able to read what that said. That's pretty nice, though. Alright, next level is by Clark is Cool. Let's check this out. Okay. I like the pixelation effect you've got going on. Nice clouds. Though I feel like you could have all these flowers and stuff reacting to the wind. You could have them shaking a little, the flowers and grass. Ooh, these colors are nice. The block design here does feel a little flat though, so maybe you could incorporate some more detail or shading or glow. Okay, this part just feels a little empty. I feel like you could give it more structures or just some more air decoration, because as of now it's very, very empty, apart from this cloud background. Nice. Alright, the next level I've got is by Crimson77, and we've got Changing Travel. Okay. Good song choice already. I like this song. Oh. How long is this? It's 10 minutes. Okay, so just like the long walk home. This first part feels very static. There's not really any pulses or any movement or anything going on, so maybe at the very least you could add a couple color pulses or give these clouds parallax. Again, I feel like some pulses would be nice, because the current pulses that are here don't really sync with anything. Also, those clouds on top are a bit too bright. This part would look a lot more cohesive if you turn those down a little. This foreground is a little bit dark. Even though there are indicators, I feel like it would have been nice to have the background be a little bit brighter. Okay, so I'm starting to realize this is probably a 1.9 GDPS level, but I still feel like those clouds should be turned down a little, and that there should be more pulses. Maybe not movements, because it's 1.9. Ooh, this is neat. It goes on for a little too long, though. And you flash the word change in my face around 3 times. There's another thing nagging me. I feel like you could have made the gameplay more clear instead of just using indicators for everything. Because if you made the gameplay clear, you wouldn't need indicators. Like this part, I don't really feel like this needs any indicators. It'd also save you a color channel for some parts. This is a really cool idea with the spotlights. Ooh, this is really cool. I like all the designs you packed into here. That must have taken a long time to do. I'm dreaming, apparently. This is a lot more lively than the other parts you've had in the level. Mostly because you have it flickering between different block designs. Maybe some occasional dark pulses could also be cool. This is a cool pattern for the background. I like this. This is really nice. But overall feedback though, just like I said throughout the level, I feel like it could have used a couple more pulses to make it feel more alive. Other than that, I really enjoyed that. That was all the levels I had planned for today. Since this video took a little longer than usual, I'm gonna limit myself to 5 levels per video from now on. Like I said at the start of the video, if you'd like to submit your level for me to play, take a look in the video description and fill out the Google form.